Mobile Museum of Modern Day Slavery and Vice President of the International Institute for Human Security, as well as President of Womanity for All. A passionate advocate for gender equality and human rights, she works extensively to combat gender-based violence and promote intercultural dialogue across borders. She has held professorship at the University of Bucharest, the Romanian Language Institute, Oriental Institute of Vatican, among others. Her remarkable contributions have earned her numerous international honors, including multiple Women Economic Forum Award, Woman of the Year Romania 2015, and recognition from the Egyptian government, along with being named Ambassador of the Transformation of Education in Romania in 2020. I request all of you to give her a big round of applause. Dr. Titipol completed his doctorate in politics and international relations from the University of Warwick in 2005 and ever since has been associated with UR University, Thailand. He currently serves as director of the Regional Center for Human Rights Study and Coordination, a collaboration between the National Human Rights Commission of Thailand and the Faculty of Political Science at UR University. In 2021, he was appointed Human Rights Expert by the Office of the National Human Rights Commission of Thailand and was Visiting Research Fellow at Raoul Wallenberg Institute of Human Rights and Humanitarian Laws. His work focuses on the rights of rural, poor, and marginalized communities alongside youth empowerment and democratization in Thailand. I request everyone to give Sir a big round of applause. Next, we have Dr. Artyom Garin. Dr. Garin holds a PhD in history and serves as the head of Digital Research Laboratory, the Contemporary East at the Institute of Oriental Studies, Russian Academy of Sciences, Russia. He specializes in digital Oriental studies with a particular focus on the development of artificial intelligence tools, including reasoning AI assistance, big data analysis, and modeling of socio-political process. His research extensively examines digital transformation in the Indo-Pacific region, especially the legislation of Asian and Oceanian countries in the domination of data policy, cybersecurity, and digital sovereignty. Please give him a big round of applause. Next, we have Ms. Anamika Bhattacharjee. Ms. Bhattacharjee is a PhD scholar at the University of East Anglia and the Associate Fellow at Higher Education Academy. She currently works as a part-time teacher in School of Norwich, UK. Prior to commencing her doctoral studies, she served as a lecturer in History of Helsinki College, where she gained significant experience in higher education teaching. She is the author of 2 published books, History of Siliguri and the Tribes and Caste of Darjeeling District, which reflect her sustained research interest, regional and social history. We will be also shortly joined by Ms. Cynthia Francis. I now request Dr. Nandini Bashisht, Associate Professor, Department of Liberal Studies and Social Sciences, Faculty of Humanities, Social Sciences and Liberal Arts, SGT University, to please moderate the session. May I please request Professor Nazima Parveen to felicitate Dr. Aurora Martin.
Very easy because you already started or setting the tune of this conference. Distinguished delegates, esteemed panelists, faculty member and my dear students. A very good morning and warm welcome to the first academic session of International Conference on Changing Dynamics of India's Narrative Diplomacy. The theme of the session, as Dr. Sweta said, that is Narrative Diplomacy Theory and Praxis. This session will talk about different dimensions of track 1 diplomacy to #diplomacy. As we know, narrative diplomacy is very interdisciplinary in nature, as we have today's panel, very vibrant and diverse. We are really thankful to all panelists today who traveled all the way from England, Thailand, Russia and Armenia. I know everyone is waiting to listen to them. So, let's start with my dear sister, Dr. Aurora Martin. I hope you are enjoying Indian food and weather. So, Dr. Martin, you spoke compellingly about digital double-edged sword and how platforms like WhatsApp were used for mobilization during the Romanian crisis. Given that India has the largest digital diaspora in the world, how can a state effectively differentiate between organic diaspora mobilization and malicious disinformation campaigns without infringing on the democratic freedom of its citizens? Can you explain?
Everybody, first of all, I have to tell you that you really know how to welcome somebody, how to welcome a guest, how to make us feel very special. Thank you. Namaste. So, respected chair, distinguished organizers from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, esteemed representative of the Indian Council of World Affairs, fellow scholars, ladies and gentlemen, Namaste. Good morning. It is a profound honor to stand before you today at this prestigious conference. And I'm grateful to Sister Nandini for inviting me here and for giving me the opportunity to know you better. To speak about diaspora in India is in many ways like speaking about the ocean to a mariner. India is not merely a nation state, it is a civilization that has mastered the art of diaspora diplomacy on a scale that the rest of the world studies with reverence. With over 18 million Indians living abroad, your country has set the gold standard for how a nation engages with its global sons and daughters. I come to you from Romania, a Latin island in the Eastern Sea, a country that, relative to its population, mirrors India's story. We too are a nation defined by departure, with over 4.5 million citizens living outside our borders, nearly 20% of our population. Romania has arguably the largest diaspora in the European Union relatively to its size. Today, I propose a dialogue between these two realities. I wish to present to you a case study from the very recent past of Romania, the turbulent, transformative Romanian election of 2024-2025. This was not just a political event. It was a phenomenon where cultural soft power collided with hard electoral influence. My thesis for this morning is simple yet provocative. In the 21st century, a nation's narrative is no longer written solely by its diplomats in capitals. It is co-authored by its diaspora in the streets, on university campuses, and in voting booths. Scholars like Joseph Nye taught us that soft power is the ability to attract and co-opt rather than coerce. But in the context of our conference theme, narrative diplomacy, we must go further. Narrative diplomacy is a strategic construction of nation's story. Traditionally, the state owned the narrative. The Minister of Foreign Affairs would curate culture, fund language institutes, and organize festivals. This is the top-down approach. However, what we witnessed in Romania during the crisis 2024-2025
was a bottom-up revolution. The diaspora ceased to be merely a strategic asset or a passive recipient of cultural policies. The diaspora became autonomous diplomatic agents. They became what scholars Keek and Sicking call a transnational advocacy network. In Romania, we observed fascinating symbiosis between cultural diplomacy, institutes, lectorates, which builds the infrastructure, the network of trust, and electoral mobilization who utilized this infrastructure to exert pressure. This is where the Romanian experience offers a critical lesson for the Indian context. Cultural soft power is a sleeping giant of political hard power. Let us look at the facts. In late 2024, Romania faced a constitutional and political earthquake. Following the first round of presidential elections, the Constitutional Court issued a controversial decision to annul the results due to the procedural irregularities and allegations of foreign interference. For a young democracy, this was a moment of supreme fragility. It was a crisis of legitimacy. But here is where the narrative shifts. In the past, such a crisis might have led to apathy. Instead, it triggered a tsunami of civic engagement from the diaspora. When the elections were rerun in May 2025, we witnessed a historical anomaly. Over 1.2 million Romanians voted from abroad. To put this in perspective, imagine a voting bloc larger than the population of many European capitals, exerting decisive influence on who sits in the presidential palace in Romania. How did this happen? It was not accidental. It was a result of decades of cultural layering. The Romanian diaspora used the very tools of public diplomacy, cultural centers, and digital platforms to mobilize. They used WhatsApp and TikTok not just to share folk music, but to organize voting caravans. They turned cultural festivals in Rome, London, Madrid into forums for civic debate. They transformed from cultural ambassadors into democratic watchdogs. This reveals a crucial dynamic. A diaspora that is culturally engaged in a diaspora that is politically empowered. You cannot have one without the other. I wish to highlight a specific mechanism of this engagement, one that resonates deeply with India's emphasis on education and culture. I draw your attention to the Romanian language lecturers. These are not merely language classes, they are diplomatic hubs, like this from Yerevan, where I'm coming from. This created a space where Romanian culture met Armenian history, and because when the political crisis in 2004, these cultural hubs became nodes of information. The trust built through culture allowed for the rapid transmission of civic duty. The diaspora became highly active, proving that influence is not just about numbers, it is about connectivity, something new, something very important in our era of social media. This mirrors India's majestic use of Indian Council for Cultural Relations and its global network. Just as you project the power of yoga, of Bollywood, of Sanskrit to bind your community, Romania utilizes its language and heritage. The lesson here is that these cultural investments are not expenses. They are the fiber optics through which political narratives travel during time of crisis. Distinguished colleagues, as we look to the future, what can the Indian elephant learn from the Romanian lynx? India's narrative diplomacy through initiatives like Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is a masterclass in state-led engagement. You have successfully positioned your diaspora as a strategic asset for economic development and foreign policy lobbying in US, in UK. However, the Romanian experience offers a glimpse into a different, perhaps more volatile future. The diaspora as an internal political arbiter. Here are 3 specific insights for our Indian counterparts. The shift from lobbying to voting. Currently, the Indian diaspora exerts influence primarily on the host countries, lobbying for India's interests. The Romanian case shows that as digital connectivity increases, the diaspora will turn its gaze inward, demanding a direct say in domestic governance. The narrative of belonging inevitably leads to the demand for participating. The digital double-edged sword. In 2024, we saw how quickly cultural channels can be hijacked by disinformation. The same WhatsApp groups used to organize Diwali or Easter celebrations can instantly become vectors for polarization. Narrative diplomacy in 2026 requires not just projection of image, but protection of truth. We must train our diaspora in digital resilience. And third, the hybrid actor. The Romanian diaspora showed that one can be a citizen of the world and a patriot of home simultaneously. India's concept of the world is one family is the perfect philosophical container for this. But practically, it requires institutions that are flexible. We need to move beyond servicing the diaspora to partnering with them. In conclusion, the last election of taught Romania a humbling lesson. We learned that borders are geographic, but nations are digital and emotional. We learned that soft power is not just about painting a pretty picture of one country abroad. It is about maintaining a heartbeat between the motherland and her scattered children. When the heart of the state stopped beating during our constitutional crisis, it was the external lung, the diaspora, that breathed life back into our democracy. For India, a civilization that has given the world the concept of guru, the lesson is this: your diaspora is not just an audience for your narrative. They are co-authors. As we move forward in this century of migration, let us stop viewing the diaspora as those who left. Let us view them as those who expanded our borders. Whether in Bucharest or New Delhi, in Gurugram or Yerevan, the future of diplomacy lies in these millions of human bridges. Let us build them strong. Let us keep them open. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurora, for wonderful presentation. You actually started with a theory of Joseph Nye and then went to praxis of Romania and ended with diplomacy with India and the world. So really, you set the setting the tone of the conference. Thank you. Now we are going towards Dr. Titi Pol, who is Director at the Regional Center of Human Rights Study and Coordinator and Faculty of Political Science, Ubon Ratchathani University, Thailand. He came along with his associates all the way from Thailand to attend this conference. We are grateful to you. We are grateful to everyone to come all the way. I know you all are very busy, and SGT University really heartily obliged to you to give your precious time. So, Titi Pol, you wrote India's activist policy is not only a geopolitical initiative, it is also a narrative of partnership, development, and shared civilizational linkages. Can you explain?
Yeah, perhaps when we look at Indian activist policies, it's important to acknowledge the cultural connections between India and South Asia. But before I go through that, first I would like to mention about something that could be evidence to suggest why it is important to look at this in terms of cultural connection and partnership, not just a business deal between India and Thailand. And today we have observed the political uncertainties because of the change in foreign policies in the US, and the world is actually experiencing this. And we observe the change in strategy between India and China as well. We have seen a more friendly tone between the two countries, and how these two countries are connecting with Southeast Asian. That is one thing that I would also look at as well. So when we look at Act East policy that started under Prime Minister Modi, that is a change that we have seen how India become a more active actor in South Asia and the rest of the world. And today we cannot deny that everyone is looking at India, and partly because India is now the world's largest country with 1.4 billion population. And last week I attended the AI Impact Summit, and I was impressed by the strategy of India. And so when we look at this kind of thing, it's also the reason that Thailand and many other countries in South Asia also see it is important to connect with India. But how can we connect, and how can India connect with the region? It is, as I mentioned, that if we just look at this as business deal, we also have China is also doing the same thing. So one of the good strategy that I observed because my university is on the border between Thailand and Laos, and we are close to the province of Champasak in Laos. And we have seen a strong evidence of India engagement, because in Champasak in Laos, there is a temple called Wat Phu Temple that is the World Heritage. And India has invested a lot there by providing technical assistance to preserve the temple by the financed by the Indian government. And it's to some extent, it's provide a emotional connection between India and Southeast Asia. If you look back the history, we have to look back about the 15th century when the expansion of Hinduism and Buddhism went to the region. And in Thailand, we are not just connected with India through Buddhism, because Hinduism, even Thailand is considered to be a Buddhist country, but we cannot deny the connection with Hinduism in India, because Hindu gods are also worshipped by many Thais as well, and many Thai are connected with India through Buddhism. Also, China is also trying to promote Buddhist connection between China and countries in Southeast Asia. But when we look at India, it is the birthplace of Lord Buddha, and that provide more connection to many Thai Buddhists in the countries, because we have seen quite a large number of Thai and Thai Buddhist monks come to India to travel to the Buddhist trail. That India also try to make that as a kind of highlight of connection between Thailand and India. And this is a kind of cultural connection can provide a deeper connection between the two countries, and also another business connection as well, as we observe this. And but the thing that I would also want to add, one thing that we have seen perhaps it is the strength of China when we look at the rivalry between the two countries in Southeast Asia. China started BRI Belt and Road Initiative in 2013 by President Xi Jinping. And we cannot deny that the money from China through BRI has significantly helped many countries in Southeast Asia, in Laos, in Cambodia, and that provide more connection, and which is not available to the region by Indian government. India have the Mekong Ganga Cooperation that India try to provide support to countries in Southeast Asia by, if you look at soft power, and then how the generosities of the Indian government can help. And the India actually focusing on providing technical support. And if you look at the recent strategy of India, that I also think it is important to look at the use of cultural connection, is when India is portraying to be the leader of the South, like by promoting South-South cooperation. And in the context of Southeast Asia, especially on the mainland Southeast Asia, like Thailand and Myanmar, Buddhism is still this important element. So by including this cultural connection, it can also strengthen the cooperation between India and Southeast Asian countries. Because if you look at the recent visit of Prime Minister Modi to Laos and to Thailand last year, and one of the highlights is to visit the Buddhist places, and actually when Prime Minister Modi visited Laos, one of the highlights was the presentation of Indian government that helped to preserve Wat Phu World Heritage Center. And when he visited Thailand and he visited the main Buddhist temple in Bangkok, that is a kind of a strong signal to perhaps, I think that helped to enhance the connection between India and Southeast Asia in order to enhance business connection. Because business connection is also important, because now Thailand is also see India as a kind of important market, while India also see Thailand is also as a kind of important market as well. So in order to enhance this connection by using Buddhist diplomacy, I think that is also another good strategy to maintain the long history connection between the two countries. And because India also 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we also had the connections between India by when India actually lent the Buddha relic to Thailand and travel across the country to the north, northeast, to the south and central part of the country. And that also meant a lot to many Buddhists in Thailand, because to have an opportunity to pay respect to the relic of Lord Buddha is one of the main things of many Buddhists. But after that, in 2024, China also did the same thing by lending the Buddha relic to Thailand as well to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Thai-China relations. So in the way, I would argue that even China is also doing the same thing, but a stronger connection between Thailand and India is more realistic when you look at the cultural connection, as because the most Buddhists in Thailand are more connected with the birthplace of Lord Buddha rather than just the other branch of Buddhism. And so that is one of the strengths that India have over the implementation of Buddhist diplomacy in the region. But as I mentioned, that the strength that China has more than India is the implementation of the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, that China is using across the region, like in Laos. Laos received quite a large number of financial support from China. But it doesn't mean that China can also take control of the region because of this kind of balance between the cultural connection and business connection. So and with the current situation, with the uncertainty, with the change in the U.S. foreign policies, then most countries in Southeast Asia are not trying to rely on any single actors, and many countries are also trying to balance the connection with both China, India, and also the US and Russia, and all countries that we can see that the strategy of many Southeast Asian countries, including Thailand, is not just to rely on any single actors. So when we look at the cultural diplomacy, to some extent, we cannot deny that it's important to strengthen the relations between India and countries in Southeast Asia, and not just Buddhism as well. India also use Ramayana. That is also one of the main elements, and this is very common in Thailand as well. In the Thai cultural performance called Khon, that is one of the Thai cultural performance that use Ramayana as a the main story, and that is also part of the Indian diplomacy as well, as also mentioned by Minister Jayashankar, that he also think that using Ramayana to provide connection is also important for India. And this is what we can see, that how Thailand and India are very culturally connected, and that I would think that it is still important to use this as a kind of mechanism to enhance the relations between the two countries.
Thank you, Dr. Titipal, for wonderfully explaining India-Thailand relation and how we can make it more stronger. We have Indian people have relation with Thailand since Funan Champa Khmer monastic times. So it's an age-old civilization linkages. And you are talking about preserving temple initiative of India. I want to add here that we have also started preserving manuscripts of India, and our Minister of Education has opened one section on Indian knowledge system. So this cultural linkages, I think we can make this happen more inclusive and go ahead with this. Now I'm coming to Dr. Atrium Garin, who is head of Digital Laboratory, Institute of Oriental Studies, Russian Academy of Sciences. I hope you enjoyed your trip to Taj Mahal. And
yeah, I enjoyed very much. We visited a lot of places there.
Also, your trip to SGT University?
Yeah. I will say how I like SGT University when I start. Yeah, because I visited a lot of places here. I visited a lot of places in Delhi, a lot of places also in SGT University. And I am confident that SGT University is one of the best universities in India. They have a great infrastructure, and I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you. So now tell me how AI is becoming an architect of discourse.
Okay. Thank you very much for invitation to this conference. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here. especially thanks to Dr. Nandini, our big friend, which we cooperated at a few years, and we hope that this cooperation will be more and more and more developed in the future. So AI is also India held a great AI summit, and my congratulations to India, to colleagues from India with this event. So AI is really changing the world, but the access to AI is not equal all over the world, because today AI capabilities they are in the hands of the few countries and the few companies. Some companies can define how the models can be trained, which data use, or who can get access to their models. So this creates, of course, a serious risk, a digital divide. And we need, when it's the situation when some countries will have trained specialists, computing powers, advanced AI, but other countries will have nothing. And of course, this situation could be terrible. And for us, it's very important, that is why, to develop our AI products. It's the road to more sustainable development as a future, of course. And we need to build it together. Universities, research centers, think tanks, these are the places where a solution can emerge. It's not the corporate labs closed behind the NDAs or something else, but we need open collaboration for it. Of course, we can share the data. In this way, I want to highlight that I said that we can share the data. I said that I think that we can collect it together, and of course we can give our data also. I'm not asking for example, to only take your data. So it's pretty different with some companies and so on. We can also train models together. We can develop the tools which are tailored to our region, to our languages, our economic realities, of course. And when we cooperate, our models becomes better and our insights become deeper. So, of course, there is an infrastructure challenge because, of course, AI needs a computing power. So, for many countries in the global south, this is a real bottleneck. And for example, country can have the best algorithm in the world, country, but without the service, without the energy, without the infrastructure, nothing works. So that is why we need also to think about the infrastructure development of this thing. Yet this also forces us to think strategically. For example, when we established our digital lab, we had two ways. The first way is try to make some philosophical researches about how AI influence to the science and so on. And the second way was develop our AI products. The second way was more difficult, it was more complex, but it became more interesting and sustainable for us also, because now we have some products, and I pleased to share with you one of them. It's AI assistant which works only in scientific data from Russian articles, from Russian books, from the Institute of Oriental Studies. And we made a special version which works in Hindi. We also added the Thai languages, even Lao language are there. So our main purpose to do it more open for everyone, and we will be pleased to share with the colleagues with this development. Also, we are pleased to invite colleagues from India to develop this product and became it more and more popular in India also, because most of my friends always ask where can I find some Russian article, Russian textbook, and so on and so on. But now we broke the language barrier, and now you can get access to it in Hindi. So it is nice, I think. We also have a project of translation of the Buddhist canon in Russia, so that is why we are open to cooperate with everyone. Now, I can show you how it works. I made a presentation also, But there were some minor mistakes in Hindi, unfortunately. But in the main purpose, my colleagues from India said that it works very nice. So that is why we need to develop it in future. And we also tried to find some similar regions in Russia and India, which can make some extra trade, extra cooperation and business and culture. It's because it's more easier to bring closer the regions of the countries, because every one of us are from one region of the countries. But because if we will try to bring the whole countries together, it will be very difficult for scientists. But nowadays we can do it better when we will build cooperation, will build bridges between the regions of our countries. So let me summarize. AI is often seen as a source of division, and the rich get richer and the powerful get more powerful, but it doesn't have to be this way. If we choose cooperate, AI can become a bridge between the universities and research centers and think tanks, between the regions, between the global south and the future that is not dedicated by other. Because we have data, we have our own models, we have especially the experience, and we are looking partners, of course. I think SGT also is could become one of the greatest partners in this way. So, because the future of AI will not be written by one country or one corporation, and if it will be written by all of us. So, or it will not be ours at all. So, in my opinion, AI is a key tool for the scientists to become more effective, and of course to broke the language barrier. And nowadays we had a great success on it. We will be pleased to cooperate with the colleagues from the global south in this area, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Garin. I also believe that AI and information should be accessible to all. Still, I know that many humanities students and teachers are not very much accompanied with these AI tools. But SGT University is having a cobotics center and AI dedicated center. So we hope we will be with scientists, the humanities also will use it, the optimum utilization of the resources of AI. So next we are going to England. We have two very young and energetic scholars with us. Dear Anamika Bhattacharya, who is pursuing research in East Anglia University. Tell me how cultural misunderstanding becomes political narrative, and how reclaiming indigenous temporalities become an act of post-colonial narrative resistance.
First of all, thank you very much, SGT University, for inviting me to come here, and a special thank you to Dr. Nandini for inviting me over here. So my question was, how cultural misunderstanding becomes political narrative, and how reclaiming indigenous temporalities becomes an act of post-colonial narrative resistance. So, cultural misunderstanding in colonial contexts is rarely accidental. It becomes political when it is systematized through scholarship, circulated through administrative reports, used to justify intervention, and incorporated into civilizational hierarchies. And civilizationally, So this narrative justified colonial governance as historical acceleration. So cyclic time becomes evidence of civilizational stagnation. So for this case, I would be explaining William Jones. So Jones' comparative philology, it aligned Hindu traditions with Greco-Roman antique. While appearing respectful, this comparison, it repositioned India as Europe's ancient cousin. It located Hindu cosmology in Europe's past, and it reinforced a teleological progression from myth to modernity. So, misunderstanding here lies in reducing living cosmology to antiquarian curiosity. And the political effect, India became narratively placed in Europe's childhood. So, this temporal relocation is political because it naturalizes imperial rule as historical inevitably. So, now the next thing that I will be talking about is Thomas Ray. So when Thomas Ray emphasized astronomical cycles behind Hindu festivals, and by foregrounding mathematical precision, here ritual meaning was secondary. Sacred temporality became mechanical calculation. Festival time was reframed as agrarian or seasonal utility. So this appears appreciative, but it subtly strips cosmology of metaphysical sovereignty. So the political narrative becomes Indian knowledge is useful but not self-sufficient. Ritual becomes folklore, astronomy becomes data, and cosmology becomes ethnography. Now, when I will be talking about other colonial scholars or missionaries like Claudius Buchanan, now he interpreted Hindu ritual calendars as corrupted remnants of original monotheism. So this was not simply dismissal, it was theological misrecognition. First of all, he saw degeneration where practitioners saw continuity, interpreted multiplicity as decay. He framed ritual repetition as superstition. Now, this misunderstanding became political through educational reform, evangelical projects, and civilizing discourse. So the festival calendar became a site of moral correction. So here cultural misunderstanding turns into reformist governance. So from my thesis, which I'm working on, British interpretations of Hindu calendar and festivals, my analysis of Sir John Malcolm's portrayal of Holi shows how misunderstandings becomes a narrative of controlled chaos. Holi's temporal suspension of hierarchy was interpreted as social disorder, primitive license, and carnival irregularity or irrationality. So rather than a cosmologically structured inversion, this portrayal made political sense. If Hindu society is inherently disorderly, imperial order becomes necessary. So misunderstanding here legitimizes surveillance. So across my thesis, a pattern that I observed was cyclical time becomes stagnation, ritual becomes superstition, comparison becomes hierarchy, difference becomes primitivism, and sacred temporality becomes administrative data. So these are not neutral misreadings. So they produce what Edward Said and many other Orientalist scholars calls a structured discourse of domination in Orientalism. So misunderstanding becomes political when it defines Who is modern? Defines. Who governs time? Defines. Whose cosmology counts as rational? So control over time becomes control over history. So if colonial power recognized time, then reclaiming time becomes narrative resistance. So my thesis already proves this. So just to conclude, I would say I propose the term narrative diplomacy to describe this phenomena. So by documenting Hindu festivals, British scholars constructed narratives about Indian civilization for European audiences. So these narratives traveled to London, Edinburgh and beyond. They shaped parliamentary debates, missionary funding and public imagination. So festivals become symbols of India itself, sometimes ancient and wise, sometimes stagnant and superstitious, and often picturesque. So this narrative circulation served dual purposes. First, it legitimized colonial governance by portraying British rule as rational stewardship over complex traditions. And second, it positioned European scholarship as the authoritative interpreter of Indian culture. Now, yet these narratives also preserved invaluable records. So many early descriptions remain critical sources for contemporary historians. The colonial archive is therefore both instrument of power and repository of knowledge. So why today? These colonial interpretations continue to shape how Hindu festivals are perceived globally as cultural heritage, tourist spectacle, or civilizational symbols. Terms like festivals of light, the focus on visual spectacle, and simplified ritual classifications often originate in 19th century British accounts. So, recognizing these genealogies does not diminish the festival's value, but situates them historically. For scholars, colonial records are rich sources of information, but they demand careful and critical reading, attention to voice, translation, and power dynamics embedded in knowledge production. Thank you.
Thank you, Anamika, for throwing light on a very unique question. We have our last panelist, Miss Cynthia Francis from University of Cambridge. Her paper, Indian Film Magazine 1973 to 90, at the historic impact of Indian cinema.
The film industry further. They function as a tool of India's soft power, primarily for the Indian diaspora, as these were the main readers of the magazines apart from their circulation within India. These magazines can arguably be seen as the beginning of India's celebrity culture, and they were also the conduit by which it was transmitted abroad. In the pre-digital era, this was the only way the Indian diaspora could acquire information about Bollywood celebrities. This was also an era of state-controlled media prior to economic liberalization, so there were no Indian news channels reporting on Indian celebrities. Apart from stories about celebrities, the magazines also featured photos of Indian actors and models dressed in both Indian and Western fashion. Photos of celebrities dressed in saris, sherwanis, or performing yoga further promoted India's soft power. The association of these time-honored Indian cultural practices and clothing with glamorous celebrities made them seem desirable and modern rather than antiquated and forgotten to India's growing diaspora. These magazines existed in an era prior to India's adoption of narrative diplomacy, which is a phenomenon that can be situated in the 21st century. While Bollywood films were and are still a primary component of India's soft power, the marketing of celebrity personas also helped to cement India's identity as a newly independent, modernizing nation. The fact that these Indian film magazines were sold all over the world, especially in the UK, USA, Canada, UAE, and parts of Africa, illuminates the extent of India's soft power through the medium of Bollywood, as there was so much demand for these magazines. The sales of the magazines abroad show that there was a great interest in Bollywood outside India. Essentially, English-language Indian film magazines, the 1970s and 1980s, are an important exemplar of Indian post-colonial print culture. They show how people engage with popular culture and how a public sphere, the discussion of film celebrities, was innovated within India and for the diaspora. These magazines were an important tool in contributing to the perception of India in the minds of readers abroad. They offered further promotion of a crucial element of India's soft power, Bollywood. As they were sold not just within India, they publicized Bollywood and Indian culture to the rest of the world and offered evidence of the rapidly advancing modernity of India prior to globalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, for wonderful presentation. Also, we want to felicitate.
I thank all the panelists for such an intellectually stimulating and deeply engaging discussion. Your perspective has strong foundation for the subsequent sessions.